Hello and welcome back to the Survival Horror Guide, a show where we play and then review survival horror games. We rate them on their fear factor, and we give them an overall score. Finally, we send it over to the series' totally arbitrary rating system to see how it stacks up against the rest of the survival horror competition. Today for the show, what I consider to be a modern classic in the realm of survival horror. Today, we are checking out Resident Evil VII. Do you guys remember when this game was first announced? Capcom, those sneaky bastards, first just put out a VR tech demo that started making the rounds at trade shows called Kitchen, meant to showcase how effective horror could be on Sony's new PSVR headset. Or sorry, not PSVR, Project Morpheus, goddamn. And sure enough, at E3 2016, the trailer was officially revealed, and that it was a new mainline Resident Evil game. And now I'm not gonna lie, I was both excited and extremely apprehensive. Like, look, Resident Evil, it's my favorite video game series of all time, by far. But back in 2016, the most recent numbered entry in the series was freaking Resident Evil 6, the biggest misfire of the series.
Oh, fuck! She's sucking my dick!
And for 7 to be such a bold new take for the series, new first-person perspective, no zombies, much different art direction, entirely playable in VR, I think a lot of Resident Evil fans were a bit skeptical. Just for all of these factors, the margin for error seemed so high. But once the game was released, myself and a lot of other Resident Evil fans fell in love with the game. Not everybody. I do feel like this is a bit of a love it or hate it entry in the series, but now it's been over 4 years since the game came out back in 2017, and honestly, I think I appreciate it even more now, and it's without a doubt one of my favorites in the series. The game has you playing as everybody's favorite, Ethan Winters, in search of his thought-to-be-dead girlfriend Mia, who he receives a creepy-ass message from 3 years after she went missing. This leads him to Dulvey, Louisiana, where he winds up on the property of the Baker family. And their property's freaking huge! A big old mansion, guest house, boathouse, private dock. The Bakers were clearly doing pretty well for themselves until the mold got them. And Ethan actually finds Mia, like, right away, within the first 10 minutes of the game. Except, she's clearly not quite right. The game totally feeds you to the wolves right at the beginning of the game. Infected Mia might just be the scariest enemy in Resident Evil 7. She's goddamn terrifying. And the entire opening sequence is one of the most ass-clenchingly intense parts of the game. Just you and Mia in this old house, a chainsaw, no zombie swarms or nothing. Mia, you're way too scary. And that's Resident Evil 7's approach to enemies. Yes, there are some generic mold creatures, but not very many. They're not the main focus. Really, it's about unique, well-designed encounters with a handful of really fleshed out and intelligent enemies. Mia and the rest of the Baker family, Jack, Marguerite, and Lucas. And after your opening sequence with Mia, it's all about Jack Baker, as he stalks you around the main house. It's awesome. Jack's by far my favorite character in this game. He's too fun, man. He's got some of the best scenes for sure.
I'm gonna take you for a ride.
Oh shit, we're playing Marvel too, dog. And then you have Marguerite. Is Marguerite Roman? Ah! Who might just have the scariest final form of them all, and one of the best jump scares in the game. And then there's Lucas, who you don't actually fight directly, but you need to solve and survive his jigsaw-esque series of traps, which might sound boring, but honestly, the Happy Birthday puzzle is legit one of my favorite sequences in the entire game. And the more you learn about Lucas, the more interesting his character becomes. I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Lucas. In between all of these boss encounters though, this game really takes the series back to basics. Solving puzzles, finding keys to unlock additional areas, exploring and salvaging as many items as you can to help you survive. After the trilogy of over-the-shoulder action games, Resident Evil 7 is the most Resident Evil-y game in quite some time, and I freaking love it. I also can't say enough good things about this game's art direction. Its visuals are top-notch, the music is awesome, it's got such a distinct and unique style compared to the other games in the series. And obviously, I've been praising the game pretty much non-stop, but it's not perfect. The most common criticism against Resident Evil 7 is incredibly valid, which is the final third of this game. It doesn't even come close to touching the quality of the rest of the game. Honestly, after you leave the main house, the game loses a lot of its luster. Not to say that it's bad, it's just that the first half of this game is freaking incredible. On the fear factor scale, this game is a 9. I love Resident Evil, but the truth is, the games aren't actually that scary compared to some of the other games out there. but Resident Evil 7 is the exception. Hands down the scariest game in the series. Oh god. And one thing I haven't even mentioned yet, VR. Playing this game for the first time in VR is the most terrifying shit I have ever played.
He's fucking Terminator, dude.
VR mode gets a 10 out of 10.
No, she's walking right through. No!
Overall, this game is a 9. I appreciate the shit out of this game, and 4 years later, I can confidently say it's one of my favorite in the Resident Evil series. A total modern classic that is a must-play for any horror fan. Now taking it over to the series' totally arbitrary rating system, maybe my Resident Evil bias is showing, but looking over this list, I can't, in good faith, put any of these games on the list higher. So Resident Evil 7 takes the top spot. Damn. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Survival Horror Guide. As always, please let me know what you thought about it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. It really does help this channel out a lot. And then next up, we are playing Resident Evil Village. And we'll actually be streaming the entire game on the channel. So if you guys want to watch along, definitely keep an eye out for that. And then we'll follow that up with another entry in the Survival Horror Guide. Thanks so much for watching this one, guys. Peace.